Good morning, Canadian Yarn Heart. My name's Alyssa. Hello, Willow. Today, we're going to make this cute little hand towel project. Now, I did want to say I bought this yarn that I used for it. It was 3 or 4 balls of it, but I had bought it 25 years ago, something like that. Hello, Willow. So I've had it for quite a long time, and I couldn't figure out what I wanted to do with it. So I made this, and then I was able to find this year. So it's not quite the same pattern, but I think it'll be very, very close. Now, I'm going to just shift you a bit because, let's see if I can get the needles out of there. I wanted to show you, I have done this as a little tip on a short, but if you have a cone like this and you want to get it out, grab it around the top and hit it really hard. The cone will come out and you can do the center pull. So I did want to show that. If you are new here, thank you very much for coming. I very much appreciate it. As you can see, Maya and Willow are on the table or on the bed. If you are a returning viewer, thank you very much for coming back. I very much appreciate that. Just a quick synopsis of what I like to do here is Monday, Wednesday, Friday, I do a daily update of a bigger project I'm working on, like this one currently in the background, so I can show a realistic time frame so you have an understanding of exactly how long it can take. I do find that TikToks and all that, they try to make it very quick, very fast. I try to show a much more realistic so you don't get discouraged to doing it. I would love to hear from you and any question, comments, or concerns you have, anything you'd like me to make. I do know there's 3 people out there I have stuff to still make for. I do apologize that I haven't gotten to it, but I will get to it. I would love to earn your like and subscription. Like I said, I would love to hear from you and any question, comments, or concerns you have below, or anything, even if it's just to say hi. I'm going to move you over to the overhead cam so I can start giving you the details, and we'll get started. Now, the yarn I used for this is a sugar and cream. So there's the yarn, or let me flip it. So there's the project. And the yarn I used was Sugars and Cream, from Lily Sugars and Cream Yarn Inspirations. It is 100% Canadian cotton. It's a 4 medium. It recommends a 4.5 needle or a 5mm hook. The white border, I think this one, I can't remember if I used this loops and thread or if I just used Bernat. I have both kicking around. But for this one, I'm going to use the loops and threads classic cotton big ball cotton. It is white. It is a 4.5mm needle and a 5mm hook. This one says machine wash cold, no chlorine, bleach dry. I have washed them. I don't see a problem with what I do with washing them. So now that I've got the center pull, you just want to find your end, which now you have that much of a yarn barf to deal with, so not very big of a deal. So I'm going to move that over there. And so I'm going to chain 34. And I am using a 4mm hook. Now, I'm pretty sure with this one, I cannot remember if I used a 4mm or if I used a 3.5. So I'm going to make it, if it was a 3.5 or a 4, and it matches up, I won't be able to do what I was hoping. But I am hoping to do a short with the different sizes of just a 0.5 millimeter in certain yarns. So another thing about this is I will show you how to do that wreath. However, I'm not sure that's going to be the decoration I use on this piece. So now we're going to chain 34. So you make your slip knot. And I like to do that by pinching the yarn between the 2 fingers, wrap it around, pull it off, and push the yarn working thread through. And then you're going to wrap around and pull through the loop. And that's your first chain, second chain, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, 7, 8, 9, 10. I'm going to continue with my 34 stitches, and I will come back when I have them all to show you the next row. Okay, so I can tell you right now, working with this one is a much nicer, softer cotton. I will say they have definitely changed their softness. It's not rough or anything, but this is just luxuriously soft. Like, it's really super soft. And as I said, it's about 20, 25 years now. I've had it. I remember buying it when we were in Marion's. So that means my youngest was about 3 and he's 21 now. So I've had it for quite a few years. So now what you're going to do after you have your 34 is turn, and on the second loop from the hook, you're going to do your single crochet. And this is all the pattern is. You're going to do single crochet all the way across, and you're going to repeat single crochet. I'm going to have to measure it in just a second. So there's your single crochet. I'll show you again and I'll talk you through it. You go under the loop, wrap the hook, pull the hook through, wrap it again, and pull it through both. Do that again. Pull it through the loop and wrap, pull it through, wrap again, and pull it through both the loops. So you are going to do that all the way through, and you are going to have, so there it is. And as I said, this is really old yarn. So it is super nice, super soft, really old. So happy I have it. And what I'm going to do is measure just in between the border. So I have 21 inches here. So I'm going to do 21 inches. And when I come back, I will show you how to do the border. And then hopefully by then I will figure out what to do for the decoration. So I will be back and I will show you the next stage in a minute. Okay, so I have finally finished my border. I am going to be, like I said, I was going to change it. So I've decided to do this cute little snowman. I know it doesn't look like much yet because of the way you assemble it. I will show you how to do that. That's separate for the moment. But oops, I should turn on the light. Yeah, just a little bit better. And as you can see, I've got it to make that square perfect. So now I'm going to change and use the white for the border. Now this is going to take a few rows. I think I did 5 rows. And I like to start here. You go in and then you can make a loop on your hook and pull it up and through. Chain, single crochet like that, and then you're just going to put your hook, I'm just going to flatten that little string out so it lays flat, and then I'm just going to single crochet as I go down into each row. You'll see a space. The next stitch goes in that space, and what you want is the border to be flat. So I'm going to show you what will happen. We'll go along this or edge and I will get to a corner and I will show you how to do that. And then you're just going to do 5 rows. Through. Oh, didn't get it all. No, that did not go well. There we go. That's better. And that will happen, especially with this kind of cotton yarn. You do get splitting. You just want to take your time, take a breath, and just go back and try and fix it. If you want, if you can live with it, by all means. I'm one that just wants to fix the splitting because I understand that the tensile strength then goes down. And we'll just pull that little bit of a yarn barf out. So I do like to start on the long end. Don't know why. I guess it's just the way I like to start them. And you just want to go all the way around using the white, because I think it helps the other two colors pop, the red and the green. with just having a white border, and it kind of helps the white pop a little bit too, because the white on the sugars and cream is a little bit different. So it does kind of help it stand out a little bit. And as I said, you're going to do 5 rows as a border. And you just keep single crocheting all the way down until you get to the corner. And the corners is just a little different, which is why I wanted to show you. And you just single crochet all the way down. If you notice that it's starting to curl up a bit, you may have too many stitches, but right there, it's looking really good and flat. So I'm getting each space, I'm putting a stitch in. Like right there, I can see is a row. And then right there is a space. And then there is a row. And the spaces are, I'm pretty sure, your chains, and the rows where you turned. So, or it's where you single crochet at the end of the row, I should say, actually. And you just keep going across. And that snowman, I just haven't done the nose on him yet, and stuffed him and sewed him down because he goes flat on the backing. So I'm going to sew him like this down. So I want to make sure that I get this part done, and then I'll sew him down. Actually, I'll show you how to make him and then sew that one down. And I'm thinking I will do that on something else. I'm not sure what yet, but I had to work it out in my head before I could show you how to make the little snowman for the hand towel. And you just keep going across, and then you're going to do the same thing on all three other sides. So you just single crochet all the way along. And then, as I said, when we get to the corner, we're going to basically have the stitches go around the corner. So they're going to follow the corner, and you're going to do that for every time you get the corner. And then when you go up, so the next row, you're going to do the same thing. You're going to come straight to the corner, so that very corner piece, and you're going to do the exact same thing. So for here, you're just going to go up to the corner. And this cotton does seem to have a little bit of yarn barfs until you can get a hole in it. So you will be dealing with that with the loops and threads. So that is your corner piece. You are going to do 3 stitches in it. So 1, 2, and 3. And if you notice, they will have gone all the way around the corner. Now what you're going to do is you're going to go to that stitch next time. So that will be your corner stitch, and that's where you will do the 3 stitches again. So I'm going to come back after I have my 5 rows done, and I'm going to show you the next step. And well, that will be that. All right, so I just got the border finished. I've got my five rows. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you the wreath first. So for that, what I did, I'm going to do just a magic circle. And so chain 1, chain 2, and then you're going to go 18s. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. And now I'm going to pull that tight. Then grab that stitch there and slip those together. Chain 1, and you're just going to single crochet. Actually, we're going to double them. So I'm just going to double each and every stitch. I think I'm going to tie that off first. So I don't like the fact that this keeps undoing on me. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go and I'm going to try and go around again with my darning needle. If I can get it around twice, that will be good. Now this is a little tricky. I try to leave my hook on it just because I don't want that to come undone. And I just do a little bit and then pull really tight. And you just keep going around. You will probably lose the hook like that, but now I know the color is different because I used a milk cotton that I've shown in different videos for that one and for that wreath. So this is just an acrylic Super Saver. I think it's called Patty or St. Patty. Patty Green. That's what it's called. And that way, I'm not too worried about it not being cotton. Most of everything on this one, everything on that one is cotton, so even the red. I'm not too worried about it because this is going to be a background feature for my little snowman. And I just wanted to show it. I even remember when I did it, I didn't actually like the little wreath as everything. I was like, that's kind of stupid, but I couldn't come up with anything else. So this was my idea. You're just going to trim that off, and that'll keep your tail out of your way. And then you're just going to go back to doubling every stitch. And that'll just give you a really good width for your wreath. And then I will show you how to do the red, which is really, really simple. I literally just ran the red up and down through it. So, and you just keep doubling each stitch, allowing you to flatten that out. So it really nicely flattens what you've got. one. We're going to slip stitch that. So there's your green. I'm going to leave that there, and we're going to darn that in. Well, I'm going to leave it because I know I'm going to have to sew it in somewhere, but I do want to put a locking stitch in there. So I go there to those 2 loops, pull it back through, and then put it there. And then you come in, and there we go. That'll be where I'll leave my string because it'll probably do from the center. So it's only the center that's sewed in. But now I'm going to grab the red I have here. And you just need a little piece. Nothing major. Just a scrap piece of red if you've got it. Now I'm going to put this at the top. So I want to go in here. And you just literally weave it through your row, leaving this really pretty looking little border of red that weaves in through it. That's not going right, so pull it through here, weave it in there, weave it out there, and then all I did here was I tied it. And I'm going to double knot it just because I really don't want it to come undone. And then I looped. And there you have your little red bow. And then what you can do is you can pull your little loops a little tighter. And then trim and trim. Get that end down there. There you have your little red wreath with your little bow. So there's that one. And now we're going to start the snowman. Think I need any red? Okay. So now the snowman, you're going to grab your 4mm hook. Actually, I do want to leave a bit of a tail here. Now you're going to chain 11 stitches. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Go back to the 3rd loop. So there's one there, there's one there. There's your 3rd loop from the hook. And you are going to double each stitch you come across now. So you're going to make sure you double each one, just like you did for the wreath. So 1, 2, and this is actually really important so that you actually get the curl at the bottom. And these guys were actually really, really quick to do. And you just keep going. As you can see, it's starting to corkscrew, this is how you do a corkscrew. But what we're going to do is when we get to the last 2 stitches, go that one. And this last stitch. There. So now you want to chain 1, turn, and you want to work this row. I can't remember if I did it 2 or 3 times. I did it 3 rows. So you just want to go back and forth on these stitches. And then you're going to do another 2 rows. So chain 1, turn, and work another row. And one more. And as you can see, it's definitely trying to corkscrew on me still. And then you turn and you do one more. And then the next row, we're going to decrease. I think that's enough. 1, 2, 3, 4. Let me see here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, I have one more. So that sounds about right. 2, 3, 4. Yep, that'll be right then. Hello, Maya. And then, so you're going to repeat this procedure 3 times, but you're going to decrease stitches each time. And what I mean by that is, so this next row, we're going to decrease, which is go in and act like you're going to do 1, go into the next one and pull up and pull through 2. Go in and pull up like you're doing the first stitch, go into the second stitch, pull through both. Go into the first, go into the second, and pull through both. 1, 2, and put the 2 together. 1, 2, and tie them together. So that's how you finish this off. And then we are going to 1, 2 together and grab, leaving a tail because you are going to want a tail to tie these up. So pull the thread through. So there's 1. So this next one is going to have 7 stitches, but you're going to repeat it the exact same, not quite this many rows, but 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Go back 3 stitches into the bar and double that. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. You got, in my opinion, you got 2 more. So 1, 2, and then that last stitch, at least try to get 1 out of it if you can. And that way you work your slip stitch in as well. I like to do that, especially on something like this. Pull it through and then pull through both. Now you're going to do 1 turn. Let me count. 1, 2, 3, 4 rows. So you're going to do 2 rows of these. So 1, this is row 1. Oh, that split. So this is row 1. Chain up, and then this is your second one. And then the next row will be your decrease one. And then you have to do the third one. And so this one is where you're going to decrease again. So 1, 2, 3, and 4. And then pull off, trim. Now you can sew these two up now. You're just going to sew them together. So where you're going to, this is where it is going to get a little complicated. And you are going to try and line them up as best as possible. And this is why I hate ends so much. As they start to get in the way here. But what you want to do is you want to line them up as close to the edge as possible on this side. And then pull through. And go around and sew them together. And then get on this side, on this end, and then try and line these two up as best as possible. And that way, go through. Now, you kind of fit it together so that when you stitch it up, it's close to as possible together. And you just go back and forth. Sewing that together. And then I'm just going to drag that one to the edge because I'm going to need stuff to stitch it up at the end. And I think that one will be fine right now. I am going to lock this stitch into place. I had one come undone on me, so best to lock them in place so they can't do that on you while you're working. So lock that one down. That guy can be there. And you just kind of fluff them out. They are going to tighten at the center here. And now we're going to do that again. Give a bit more of a tail. Now this one is 5 stitches. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Turn. And I'm going to say only go to 1 stitch. And then the next bar. So your second bar from the hoop. Whereas you did the third on the other 2. You just want to get 1 extra one without getting too much more on the chain. Now I have to admit this row is a really tight row to do because there's not a lot of stitches here, but you don't need a lot for the snowman's head. There we go. 1, turn. Now I do not know how many rows of this I did. I will have to count in just a second. 2, 3, and 4. Go up. I can't remember if I did 4 or not. 1, 2, no, I did 3. So then this row, you're going to decrease. So 1, 2, pull together. 1, 2, pull together, and then that last little stitch there. And you can pull it up and through. So now you're going to do the same thing with the head. I'm going to sew that into place before I lose it because I hate when you don't lock them. So this guy and this guy are going to go together. And I'm going to grab that stitch right there. And just kind of hold them together like you did the last time. And you just kind of go back and forth, keeping all the tails out of your way because, God, they're annoying. But you may want to have them for sewing up. So you're going to need thread to go around. So, I mean, you could tie them in, but you are going to need to sew this onto your hand towel. So you may as well have a couple of ends kicking around. Just gonna pretty much lock that into place. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to do the black features, and for that I use just Premier Fleece. I just used it because it was literally what I had sitting beside me in my chair. I used this for the hat and for his eyes and the coal pieces on his buttons. So I'm just going to take a good little scrap piece. And then I'm going to start down here, and you want to try and make sure you get it into the center. So just take a second to just kind of line it up. And then there you go. I then tighten so you don't accidentally pull it all the way through on you. There we go. That out, pull that out, tighten it up. I like to tie it twice because I do find knots stay better when you tie them twice. I noticed when I did the first one that I needed to come up here. Actually, I'm going to go one more in the belly button for this button. I'm going to just come through a second time. That should just heighten the black just a little bit better. Now I want to come through on the one ball on this one, and then go through the second ball, almost tying them in together. Well, you are tying them in together. I don't know if that's quite center. I think that's better. This is why I hate ends. Makes it very hard to see what you're doing. Right now. Okay, that is too high. I don't like that. So I'm going to go a little bit lower. And that shouldn't be as bad. As prominent and as big of a button. That's better. That's a much better size. And then you're going to come up here. Right about there. You want to go up a row. So just pretty much embroider that in. And then you're going to come up to the eyes. I want them right there. And yet again, you just go through one side, go over to the other, and there are your eyes. And then I'm going to put the nose in after I secure the black off just a little bit. So that way, wow, are those tails messy in here? Goodness. There we go. And then you just kind of tie it in the back. Yet another one got caught. There we go. So there's that. Now I'm going to do the hat next, or actually I'll do the nose first and then we'll do the hat because the nose is really, really easy. If you have just a generic orange kicking around, I will own this. This and the plush are not cotton. They're the only two things on it that are not cotton. You're going to go 1, 2, 3, and then you're going to grab your slip knot. And you are going to come through all 3 of them. And then you're going to trim. You do not need a lot of orange. That is truly the extent of the orange you need. But you do need a carrot nose. And then I like to tie it off just so it's all tied up. 1 and 2. And I do like the looks of doing that. It does to me look a bit like a carrot. So then I like to grab both ends, pull it off the black because I still have some black. Feed it in. And then I just go in between on the lower part, under the eyes, go in with the nose. And as simple as I just tie this one up. Now we're going to start sewing these on. Actually, no, I'll do the hat first. The hat's done. And then we're going to do the arms. So I just make a knot in that, just knot and tight. Now I'm probably going to need that at some point, so I'll keep that little strand. So we're going to chain 6 with the plush. Now 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And then the next hoop, you're just going to slip stitch 1 and 2. In the third one, you're going to slip stitch, chain 1, work in that same stitch, the next stitch, and then the third stitch you're going to grab. You're going to leave those 2 stitches there. You're going to chain 1 and turn. And now you're going to work on these 3 upper stitches in the black. I know it's really hard to see this. So 1, 2, and then there's a third one right there that you can grab. And then you have these 2 things there. So go 1 more row. Sorry, it's not doing the center pull that I like, so it's being a pain. So you're going to go 1, 2, 3. Now I'm going to 1, 2, 3 down. So you're now back to the beginning, and you're just going to slip stitch 1 and 2 just to make it even, because that really helps even out these little hat brim pieces. Leave a little bit of a tail because you are going to have to sew this on. As I keep repeating, I'm sure people are getting tired of me saying that. But there's your little hat. Now, I did grab a red. And yet again, you don't need a lot. This is a very quick. I went in. I looped it. I went 1 row above. I pulled through, almost like embroidery. Darn it. That I didn't want to do. I'll have to put that back through with the needle. No, put that back there. Grab your yarn, come back to the stitch you were in, and then go 1 more over here. Back to the center. And you can do that in 3 spots. So you're going to pick 3 directions. There we go. Now you can trim that off. And that looks like a poinsettia on your hat. And now I'm just gonna run that into the back of your hat. There we go. So that's into the back of your hat now. I'm going to tie off and then just cut these off because I don't think this is going to get a whole lot of wear and tear. So I think I can be sure that should be all right. Trim, leaving a little bit of an end. They should not work their way out of that. Now, this is where the hard part's going to actually come in, because this is where we have to sew it on and stuff it at the same time. But it shouldn't be terribly hard. So now what we're going to do is I want to start by putting the snowman on the work. I hope you can see me. There we go. So that's where he's going to be. What I have to do is just kind of, oh, there we go, grab my needle, and you want to kind of, this is all new. I have not done this part, so bear with me. So I'm just gonna stitch them together, and then we're gonna run through the top. And the reason I'm doing this is because I don't want anything to come out, the stuffing to come out the bottom. So I'm just gonna run through it. Come out. Tighten that up. Grabbing that stitch right there. All right. So now what I want to do is I want to stuff that right there. Where is my stuffing? Here's some. So I'm just going to try to stuff as much as I can stuff into it there. Just a little bit more. And I am of the opinion overstuffing is an okay thing. Overstuffing is kind of what you're aiming for. I'm sure there's people out there that can complain about that, but in my opinion, that's what you're trying to do. So now you want to sew it on as you're doing it. So this is where it's going to get a little tricky. And you're going to come out, tighten up. And if you have to, just grab the loops and then come back up and in, if that's the best way you can do it. And the nice part is it will, I'm going to grab that stitch right there. I don't know if you can see me. I have a tendency to pull it close to me so I can see it better when I have trouble. Try not to do that on camera, but so you're just grabbing a stitch and then a stitch or two up here. And then work with it. Turn it so it's facing you and you can see it just a bit better. And luckily I have pretty good light right now. So, and just going to keep going up, stitching it all up together. Like I said, if you just want to go back and forth, you can do that. So front to back, any way you want to sew him up. Sorry, I guess I keep pulling him close to me. There, maybe that'll help. And through. Up. Go. And you just keep working on getting it sewn into place. And then we're going to sew the hat on top, but you do want to make sure you stuff it. So I'm not worried about it yet. I know I've run out of stuffing in there. I can feel that. But I want to try and get everything in there. All the threads, I'm not worried about it. Just try and get them all in there. And then just keep stuffing it down. And keep sewing it up. Now we're going to turn because we're on the top. Now for this one, I'm going to do the same thing as I did for the bottom and just kind of grab each stitch, allowing me to tighten it up. So the next stitch, or if I go through the back, whether I go through the back or the front, or just however you want to grab the stitch, you want to grab it. and work on to the next part. And as you can see, all the stuffing is coming out here, but that's okay. You can work on stuffing it back in. Now you're only working on one side with it. And you just want to keep sewing it up. Now, I think I want to get in there and stuff a little bit up into the head before I go too much farther, because I can tell the head needs a bit more stuffing. So pull that there. So I'm going to just try and really stuff that in there. Move some stuffing around so I don't see that little orange piece kicking around right there. And there we go. Tighten up. There we go. There we go. That's better. Pull that orange in. And if I can find the other one. There we go. That's what I was looking to do. That's better. So now I got the orange out of there. There we go. Rethread my needle. Now you can either sew these here. So you just do a quick sew it on. And then you can darn them in a bit later. So I'm going to come back here and grab one more stitch there because I can see that it didn't get proper grabbing. There we go. And I want to just kind of grab it and go in a little bit. There, it's better. Now it does feel like I might have to change my thread. I'm getting really short here, so there we go. And we just keep, oh, darn it. Sorry about that. Didn't realize it had done that. Ah, there we go. Sometimes it does that on me. There we go. Got it back. So then you're just going to keep sewing this up. Oh, that is way down. There we go. That's a little better. Sorry about that. There we go. And push it in. Push and push and push. There we go. And now we're on to the last ball. Snowball. And then we're going to sew on the hat. And then we will sew on the arms. I know I haven't got them on there. I figure it's probably best to sew them on and so they're not free flapping on you. I know that's a really pretty look, but I know it can be also a pain if they're free flowing. Oh, I might get to do it without having to change the thread. I'm playing yarn chicken. Woohoo! See if I win. That is a term. If you are new to crochet and that, and you hear someone say they're playing yarn chicken, it means they're trying to beat the thread. And I have done it today. Woohoo! There we go. So there he is, right there. There's that one. Where is my hat? Where did my hat go? There's one. Where's the other one? I had two of them here. I have no idea where the other little guy went. Up there it is. Oh, don't lose that. There we go. So I have two hats here. So that's good. And two snowmen. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to sew on the hat. So we're going to line it up and just go back and forth. So this one won't actually be puffy. I didn't want the hat to be puffy. I just wanted the snowman to be puffy. So I'm just sewing him up and on, going around the top just to make sure you get the top sewed on. And then, as I said, I may have to change the thread and actually, oh, there we go. There we go. And then you come down following the lines of the hat. Trying so hard to get this to work without having to change my thread, but I think I'm gonna have to. There we go. Go to that one, and then you're just gonna go across. There we go. So for that one, I'm gonna come out and through and down. That will be the last one of that. But as you see, I have a tail right here, so I'm gonna go down and right in there, I'm gonna sew to the back, and then I'll tie these two in. And I think I'm just going to transfer to a new thread here. So tie these two up. I will admit the backs of my towels are not the neatest because I do tend to just do that instead of just trying to work the threads in, because I find that you can still fully see the threads, and I don't entirely like that. So I'm going to come in through here. Now, since the needle popped off, it will go faster. One. Oh, that sucked. So there we go. Now I've got them tied up. I'm going to trim all these ends so they are not in the way. So then I'm going to come back out through that hole, making sure the hat is exactly placed where you want it. So you want the hat down a bit, just pull it down just a little bit and sew that in on the row you want it, and make sure you get it. There we go. Now I'm going to sew it onto his head as well. And that way it actually looks like it's sort of on his head. Maybe I will just stuff a little bit of stuffing back there. Just a tiny little bit, just to make it feel like it is on his head. And then I'm going to keep going, following the hat shape. There. There we go, right there. That's where we wanted it. Oh, looks less like a top hat right now, but I'm just going to try and see if I can fix that a little bit. Just kind of work with some edges a bit. There we go. That's a bit better. It does appear that I have to tighten this section up a bit. now that it is stuffed. Don't know if the stuffing helped or if it made it look a little less like a bowler hat, but a little more like a bowler hat, a little less like what I was going for, but that's all right. So we're going to sew up and then just tie those in together again. 1, 2, tie that off. And now we're going to, I have to pause you for a second so I can grab my brown, and we're going to do the arms. All right, so now I am going to use this. I don't know if you can see that it's a brown. It is a brown. It is just a random brown I have around here. So I'm just going to come through here. Looks like it's not going to be laying flat, but 1, 2, 3, 4. And then what you want to do is you just want to come back into the one below and just kind of do a second one. And you just kind of do a third. And that's the best. That is not the best I've done for hands. Let's see what I can do here. All right. So that's one. There's one more. And then you're going to do 2. That is not working. Oh, I think I know what I did wrong this time. All right. We're going to go this route instead. 1, 2, 3. I'm going to go back to the beginning and slip stitch that. 1, 2, 3. We're going to do that again. Back to the beginning and slip stitch that. And 1, 2, and then do the same thing. And then you're going to want to slip stitch them all together so you're right back to the front, and then go 1 single crochet, 1, 2. And you're going to kind of single crochet it almost. So you chain 1, turn, and then you just single crochet in the lump that's right near you. I don't like that either. How did I do it before? Sorry, I'm just trying to figure out how I did it. Even end, slip knot. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's 1. Chain knot. No, see, that's where it's wrong. And then I'm just going to do this and come back down. And it may not have the best of fingers, but it'll do today. It's the last one. And then you just want to pull it out. And then for this, as I said, I like to sew them up. I have somehow lost my needle somewhere near my table. So I've got another one here I'm going to use. And we're just gonna sew it in right there. And then come back through the back. I'm just going to tie that and wait until I have the next one to come in. There we go. There's a good hand. So we're going to do that again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And you kind of do 1, 2. So you kind of do the switch around and then come down 5. So 1, actually 4, 2, 3, and then number 4 right here. And then trim it. As I said, I like to tie them before I sew them in. And then we're going to do that as well. And I got to figure out where I'm going to put the placement of the wreath now. So bring them through the back, tie them together, and then I'm going to tie all 4 together because that should prevent, do the surgeon's knot where you double the first knot, and then the second one you tie it nice and tight. That should not come undone, that knot. It's called a surgeon's knot. It should not come undone. I have not had one come undone that I know of. So there's that. There's my little snowman's hands. Now, where are you? Now, I could put it right here behind him. Or I could put it right above him. I think I'm going to go with above him. Now, I need some green and my scissors. There we go. Grab my needle. And we are on the home stretch here, or I could put it over here. I'm not sure where to put this little guy. Honestly, I'm not sure I'm going to sew him on, but if we were, I would just come up and go right in the circle near the top. But I'm not going to sew that one on because I really don't know if I need it. I really don't think he needs it. So there it is. I hope you have a wonderful day. I hope to see you again on my channel. Bye.